Hello and welcome to the Film Whispers here on Ben TV, where two movie nerds talk all things film with a contemporary lens. My name is Saj.
I'm Alice.
So Alice, what is it that we're going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about female friendship in film.
Interesting. Do you like seeing female friendships, like female bonds?
No, I hate it. More men, please.
You're a feminist,
yeah.
come on.
Too many females in film these days. No, I love it. It's really refreshing every time I watch a film and it really like delves into female friendship and relationships in a positive way. It can be complex, but positive and more realistic. Like every time I watch a film like that, I'm pleasantly surprised, which is kind of sad. Like hopefully by this stage it shouldn't be as like refreshing to me, but yeah, I like it. What about you?
Oh, I love it as well. I think what draws me to it is the emotional bond, and we don't see much of that with men on screen. And I think that's why I tend to love films that actually show female friendship, because as someone who is part of the LGBT community, it resonates with us because as men, we tend to be a bit more emotionally expressive, where we support one another in a way that's much less superficial than heterosexual men. And when we see female friendships on screen, it's something that makes us go, I recognize what we're seeing in the friendships that we have at the moment, especially amongst other LGBT men and women who we have bonds with.
Interesting you say that. It is interesting when we think about friendships in film. Usually if they've got that close, deep relationship, that supportive aspect of a friendship, it's usually with a partner or family that you really see these films delve into those kind of relationships. Films just about friendship, it's really not as popular, is it? And especially with men, like you say.
Yeah.
But at least we get it sometimes with women. Yeah, you're so right there. Would you say friendships can be in family relationships?
I would say no, only because I think family dynamics in itself is quite complex. And families, I feel as if you're forced into this hierarchy based on where you are at with what sibling number you are. And I feel as if it can get a bit weird if you're the middle child, if you're the older child, if you're the younger child, and then you're also sort of forced into this connection as well. And I know that not all families are close, and that's fine, but I think there's something different about friendships, because when you make a friend and when you have that connection with a friend, that is you finding that person, and that is you going on that emotional journey with them that makes you close. So it's almost like this is not given to you in the example of a family. You find this, and I think that's what makes friendships to me quite meaningful and different, because you have to work on it. Whereas I think in family, it's almost like it's given to you.
I think it depends on the family, and I think it depends on the friendship, because you could be friends with someone that you've been friends with since you were in primary school or something. Your parents pushed you towards them. They're basically family. And I think that's why people say that they're basically family, because you've known them for so long. But then there's friendships where you've just randomly met them at a park or at a club when you were younger, or through work, or through a friend of a friend. What would we want to say a friendship is in this context?
I would say what you just described.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the more popular female friendships that we see on screen.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you, say, 5 movies that I think are a great depiction of female friendship.
Okay.
Steel Magnolias.
Yeah.
Beaches.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids.
Okay.
Yep. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yes.
And This just came up just a couple of hours ago. Booksmart.
Booksmart. Yeah. Okay.
So there's just 5 films that I can think of where, I mean, maybe Steel Magnolias has a bit of family in it, but majority of the storyline evolves around Sally Field's character and her friends.
Mm-hmm.
We then have Bridesmaids, and that is about these 2 friends who probably met when, they don't really say, but I think it's we're meant to think it's college. So it's college friends.
Yeah.
We have the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and it looks like they met when they were young kids, because I think the whole thing is their mums are pregnant at the same time.
Yeah.
So they are pretty much the same age.
Yeah.
Beaches, again, college. And then we have Booksmart, high school.
Mm.
So I feel as if it's a good, not mix, but what we're saying is you just need to know someone for a long time.
I think as long as the 2 people are supporting each other and growing with each other, I think that's a good depiction of a good female friendship in film.
Yeah, but also I don't know about growing with each other. I mean, when you're in college, you're an adult. So I think it's more about that support. There's this famous saying, right? A friend comes for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I really believe in that.
Yeah.
Because, you have friends that you get together and do things, and then, not something bad happens, but you just lose touch, and then that's the end of that.
Yeah.
And then there are some that you are friends with for year after year, and then there are some people who have friends because they're going through a really rough time and they need that support. So I don't know, I feel like either of those options depicts a friendship. What are your thoughts?
I agree with that, but there's lots of different friendships. I agree, and then you'll have people that you meet throughout your life, and they'll go, and that's fine. That's kind of where you are. But you were disagreeing with
growing together.
Okay,
Yeah.
So when you're talking about growing together, I think long-term friendships I'm talking about, and you can have a friend who, like, I've got friends who I've known since high school.
Yeah.
We hang out for a bit, and then we kind of go in different directions.
Yeah.
They have kids. I don't care about kids, so I don't really see them as much.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get back together, and when we hang out, it's like nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I see that with my aunties and mother and stuff as well, that their friendships, since the high school, primary school, kind of come and go, but they're still there. You still know they're there for each other. But I think you're still growing together, and it's not saying, okay, we're going to grow the same pathway. I mean, you're growing, doing your own thing, but then coming back to each other. Yeah. That's kind of what I mean about growing together in a friendship. Yeah. You don't need to like copy everything each other do, because I think that's not a healthy relationship. That's very codependent. Yeah. I think you need to be like individuals, especially as adults. Yeah. You're individuals, but like you still want to hang out, even though you might be different. You've only got one thing in common. Yeah. Maybe it's just your sense of humor. Yeah. Or something. Yeah. Or something. What would you say are your films that you love when it comes to female friendship? Well, you've already took 2 of them. Which ones? I love Steel Magnolias. Yeah. I love Beaches. Yeah. I love Crush. Yes. That's definitely one of them. I think they're like my top 3. I feel like they're the ones that I just go back to all the time. Yeah, Bridesmaids is good. Like any kind of comedy, female duo friendship, like they're always good too. But like they're my top 3. If I was to describe them, probably the same thing as you. I disagree with you with friendships with mother and daughter. I really find that refreshing to see family female friendships, and that's not just mother-daughter but also sisterhood as well. I would classify that as a friendship, because even though you're together, for example, say your sister or mother, okay, yes, you're in the same family, but you make the decision to become friends, because a mother and a daughter, we can just keep that relationship as mother and daughter, and then that's it. Or you can have mother and daughter plus friendship. You bring that in there. Let's go do this together. Let's go for a walk together. What are your interests? I like those interests. Let's share them together. And there's other ones where it's like, you're the mother, I'm the daughter. I just get told what you want me to do. Like, you know, I get told what to do. Keeping that mother-daughter as a, you know, when you're a child, keeping that relationship. But I think when you become an adult, if you really do want to have a friendship, you kind of expand on that, you know? And that to me is like one of the most beautiful relationships. Sisterhood as well, like with your sisters, biological sisters I'm talking about, when you become friends with your sister, that's beautiful. I used to fight with my sister all growing up. Like, we hated each other. But when we became older, we found, oh, hang on, we're actually very similar. And we can support each other and be friends. Yes, because we're in the same family, we've kind of been pushed into that a little bit. You know, we've kept that bond, that relationship. But it changed. It changed from being a sister to being a friend. She's one of my best friends now.
Okay.
So that's where I think seeing that kind of relationship is good. And I think historically in film, we've got a lot of those negative female family relationships too, that kind of, and positive, but you know, the relationship where it's the mother, the daughter, that's it. The mother tells the daughter what to do. The daughter thinks the mother's like, you know, mean and bossy and doesn't understand, you know, friendships like terms of endearment and stuff, where the mother and daughter, they fight through that and then find a common ground and become friends in the end. That's something that I really like, and a mutual respect for each other as well.
Lady Bird as well.
Lady Bird as well. I think that's a great and very very bittersweet. Like, it's such a painful film, but it's really good depiction of mother's daughter like fighting like cats and dogs, and then but still loving each other, and like letting them people do what they want to do, even though it's like killing them inside, to like see their best friend, or you know, go across the country, like supporting them disappearing from their everyday lives, but because you know it's best for them, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess, again, a point of difference is what I like about, I guess, when you have that mother-daughter moment, or when you have those mother-daughter films, they really show the fighting side of things. And I think a lot of films on female friendship very rarely go down that territory. So when it's not family, they don't really show that friends have arguments.
Yeah, why do you think that is? Because I would say historically the fighting was bitter. Like, okay, let's talk about why we're talking about female friendships at the moment. We're talking about it because
it's deep. It's beautiful.
It's deep.
Yeah.
And there's a history of negative female friendships.
Yeah.
It's societal.
Yeah.
It's this idea that women can't be friends because it's a very fragile relationship, and at the end of the day, if a guy gets in front of them, or you know, any sort of thing which they could both be going for, it's going to become a bitter rival. They'll immediately break away their friendship because they want the same guy, or they want the same job, or whatever it is, the same friend. I don't know, but it's this competitive, ugly, jealous nature which society and old films have depicted, that's the base of every female friendship. It's brittle.
Yeah.
It's not as strong as male friendships.
Yeah. Well, I think it keeps going. I feel like then there's the kids, and then there's competition with the kids. And then there's, you know, what school the kids are going, which one has a more well-behaved kid. And I feel like it just keeps, in terms of the competition, I feel like it just keeps going.
It does keep going. And I think that we kind of have a responsibility with films is to kind of show these positive female friendships, because it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Do we have this opinion of female friendships because we've seen these negative depictions in film, in books, in TVs, historically written by males, that women are basically hate each other? And is that why people are like that in the real world? Or is a bit of reflection of society, and it just kind of folds in on itself and perpetuates that idea.
I think it might be more of an art imitating life situation, only because I feel as if just historically we've always had that thing where I'm talking, years in, like we're talking about, so let's say the 40s or the 50s, where I feel as if the whole shtick with women was you need to find a husband, get married, and have kids.
Yes.
And then the aim, I guess the main purpose at the time of women was probably, okay, well, who can be the best husband for me? And then that's where the competition starts.
Yeah.
So I feel as if it's just been like that for the longest time. And I guess today, in 2024, we're still seeing a bit of that debris around, and we sort of still see it sprinkled in real life as well, to a lesser extent. And I guess maybe that's why that kind of narrative is less in film, though we still see it a bit. So I don't know, I feel like it is a bit of a art imitating life.
We're seeing history from a male perspective in those times.
History, yes.
So it's probably a little bit skewed, but yes, you're right that women were told, you want to be the prettiest. Oh, is she prettier than you? Are you the prettiest?
Yeah.
Are you going to get the right guy? Have you got the right attitude, or I don't know, meekness, or whatever grossness that they want to say? Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's so intertwined in the art that we consume. And I'm sorry, I just thought of this, right? Like, you've seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Okay, so when he proposes to Janet, when Brad proposes to Janet, one of the lines that she says is, "It's nicer than Betty Monroe had." Again, see, it's just in there, the competitiveness, and you see it a lot in art, where there's like this competitive undertone a lot of the time. Like, even when it comes to the songs that we used to listen to, what was that song where the whole thing is a girl being upset because a guy left with her guy left with another man at the end of the party, or
or like Jolene.
Oh, like, there you go. Please don't take my man. It's just such a.
It is definitely something that was pushed on women as well, though, because that was the way to survive, right?
Yeah.
The survival of the fittest. So there's that kind of thing which we're kind of trying to break down. I definitely try to challenge that idea if it creeps into my head, or when I see my other girlfriends talking that way, talking negatively about other women, or where it just seems like insecure, and it's perpetuating that idea, which we really need to like stop. But it happens to the best of us. I get it too, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I? Get over it.
So in terms of these films, what are some of the themes that we're seeing in terms of friendship?
What film can we talk about? Maybe Beaches?
Yeah.
Classic?
Yeah.
So we're seeing a few different themes.
Yeah.
One of them is they meet randomly on a beach. So it's a meet cute as children, and we see their friendship progress throughout their life. And they're one of those friendships which they kind of come back together and disappear. They fight. They fight, and they come back together. But also there's an element of societal, what would you call it? They're coming from different classes.
Socioeconomic.
So they're coming from different backgrounds, so different socio-economic backgrounds.
Yeah.
So that really plays a part in it as well.
Yeah.
One really has to work for for anything, and the other one seemingly has it all. And you're seeing two women, same age group, kind of going through life and having these different challenges, and saying which one is actually more of a challenge, or does it even matter? Like, do they need to compete on how hard done by they are?
I thought Beaches didn't show that competition as much, though, and I think it was a very obvious, these are two different women.
Yes.
And one wants to go down the path of being a singer, and the other one wants to be an academic or whatever. Yeah. And I don't know, I didn't feel like they were competing with each other.
No, I wouldn't say they're competing with each other per se, but I do think it's just showing a friendship with two different backgrounds.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's showing them going through life at two different times, struggling with two different things. One of them is definitely struggling with money.
Yeah.
The other one isn't,
Yeah.
but she's struggling with other elements.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that's why it's a positive thing, because they're not fighting each other in that aspect.
Yeah. But speaking of competition, Bridesmaids, and I thought that was interesting because the competition was with another girl.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. And I think, I would say that is, while I've not been in that situation, I can see that happening where, you meet friends from different parts of your life, and then it's almost like, well, I know this person better than you. Like,
it happens all the time. It's like a fundamental female friendship issue, I think, because as a child, like in primary school, that's like one of the first fights is, and I'm sure it happens with guys too, but you two are friends and then someone else has come into the picture, and if there's three friends, it's like there's always one that maybe feels left out or something like that. Why are you going with that person instead of me?
No, exactly.
What's wrong with me? And it's so true because, I'll see old friends, and then the new friends, you can feel that, like, this is my friend, actually. Like, we're very close now. Yeah. And you're like, I've just known them forever. Like, I've known them at different stages of their life, and they have that, there's that weird territorial thing that happens.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about this. But they all kind of get over it. Like, it's good.
So I really like the dynamic between the Kristen Wiig character and Rose Byrne. It was just depicted so well.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. And from the get-go, you knew what was going to happen. And the way Kristen Wiig felt so insecure was just, And what I also loved was the fact that the Rose Byrne character, she had insecurities as well. Insecurities, that's something that, do we see very often in female friendships in film?
Yeah, we absolutely see that. They kind of, being with another woman, I think because you kind of are compared to each other naturally, you kind of get to see each other's insecurities. I think in a positive way, you kind of share your insecurities with each other. In a negative way, you're fighting. You guys kind of know each other's insecurities, and then you kind of play on that without actually communicating. I think that's the difference in the positive and the negative female friendship.
So then we had Steel Magnolias as well. And I think that was a really good depiction of support when there's something wrong. And that's another thing that female friendships on screen does. It shows women going through an event, a traumatic event, and how the other women are there for support. Yeah. And that to me is beautiful. Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants as well. Now, I know a lot of people just hear that title and go, oh, that's such a, a teen film, but it was so great.
Yeah, it's good.
And especially in that time of your life where you're quite vulnerable, there's the character of Carmen, whose dad's going through a start with a whole new family. And then there is the character of Lena, who is in Greece, and she's dating a guy who the family doesn't approve of. I just thought that all of them had such great storylines, and the way they supported each other was just amazing.
They're all supporting each other, and I like both these films do is they show the importance of having that your group, your friendship support system. How much it helps the individual. And it's interesting that both these films, men are very much a secondary character. They're not going to the men for emotional support.
No.
They're not going.
Oh, that's, You're not going to do that. Yeah.
And I don't know, that kind of is a bit sad as well, because maybe we should see more of that. Not that they shouldn't go to their women as well, but we should try and maybe see more of this support from men as well, because that perpetuates sexist stereotypes that you can't go to your partner for help. They're not going to care or whatever. I would like to see more of that support. But talking about these two films, the guys aren't their support system. It's the women that are like supporting each other, but all got each other's backs. And that's like such a contrast from what we're used to, which is the women don't have your backs, you take all your support from the male or your husband or your, your family, I guess. I guess that kind of plays into what you're talking about. Your family is like, your family will support you. Kind of no matter what, maybe for the family respect as well. Like, it's like, oh, they're one of us, we need to look after them. But with the female friendships, without family blood ties, they're making that decision to support you no matter what.
Yeah.
Without getting anything in return.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, you do get it in return, hopefully, if it's a good relationship, you get it back.
Yeah.
But you're not giving just to receive.
Yeah, that's right. I think that a lot of the time with straight men, it is just how it is.
Maybe there's an issue there because, one of the major issues with men is mental health.
Yeah.
And it's one of the examples for why it's such an issue is because they don't feel like they can talk about their emotions and with other men.
Yeah.
And that's why men's sheds exist and other things like that, where they can kind of get together and hopefully be able to express themselves because they feel like they have to keep it all in to be stoic.
Yeah.
That's a societal pressure for them.
Yeah.
It's that they feel like they have to do that, which is really sad.
Yeah.
So
do you think women play a part in that problem? Okay.
I think absolutely there's some women that do that.
Yeah.
I've seen women say that, oh, why are you crying?
Yeah.
Even to their sons, why are you crying? Be a man.
Yeah.
Their husband, you need to be strong. Like, I don't care about your feelings. Get over it.
Yeah.
It's really like kind of brushed aside. If a man is vulnerable, then they get stung, and they probably get stung from an early age.
Yeah.
So they kind of get taught to do that.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. So it would be good to see more of that male relationships, more of that male support. I do think that other cultures do it. Maybe like...
Can I give that cultural lens view of it?
Please.
I still think that... So I'm going to talk about South Asian culture because that's something I've been exposed to.
Yes.
I still think there is that be a man phenomena to it. Maybe from my experience, the men are a bit more expressive. And there's definitely the whole thing of when something goes wrong, the other men are there for support. But it is still different. So I'll give you an example. So hypothetically, if something was to happen to me, I don't know, or my life, and I needed support, I can guarantee you, at least in my cultural community, there will be people coming with plates of food to my apartment, dropping it off. It's just, and I do the same to them. And that is their way of showing support. Is it emotional? I don't know, but it is just a way of just going, let me take one thing off your plate. Here's some food for you. Yeah, and I don't know. That's just how we show support. I don't think we would find that in Caucasian culture. I don't know.
Not as much.
Not as much. And I think what I'm trying to say is I feel like there's something that we do to fill in the void with emotional connection. So in South Asian culture, it's food. Here you go, eat.
Yeah.
So that's my cultural lens view of male friendships.
That's male friendship.
Yeah.
Feeding each other and just being there.
Yeah, being there. But there's the emotional conversation.
No, like deep talk about it. It's very surface level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like a female friendship, it goes beyond the surface.
Yeah. When it comes to male friendships, I think there's two films that I still like, even though it's just very eye roll worthy. Eye roll. What's it? Is it eye roll worthy?
Yeah.
Worthy of an eye roll.
Yes.
Dude, Where's My Car? And Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it in so long.
I know. That's male friendship for you, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's purpose-driven friendship.
Yeah.
They're supporting each other to get to a purpose kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's all the time we have today. But it was really nice talking about female friendships with you.
Yes, and Steel Magnolias and Beaches, definitely worth a rewatch. And speaking of rewatching, we have a podcast.
We do.
We do have a podcast. It's called Rewind, Rethink, and you can find it on anywhere you get your podcasts fix. And we also have an Instagram account, so please like and follow us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. My name is Saj.
I'm Alice.
Bye.
Bye.